Hello, dear ones. So, unsurprisingly, like everything worked out as soon as I had that surrender this morning. And what I am here to tell you is, gosh darn it, I wish I knew how to make the surrender happen. Because after the surrender is when everything is fine. And you get the thing that you decided you didn't need. And this is what Bashar says. I'm going to link a thing, recent one I watched with Bashar that was like excelente. But he says the reason why when you think you changed and you don't get the changed outcome is because you were requiring the outcome to happen. And so it doesn't happen because you were requiring it to happen. And when you surrender and don't require it to happen, that's when it happens. But it's like, how do we force ourselves to surrender? Please tell me if you know how. I see my system seems to require a miracle to get me to the surrender point, or like it gets so bad that I finally give up. Um, and gosh darn it, I wish I knew how to just be like, oh, go ahead and surrender. But I have not figured that out yet. But I am here to tell you that it's now 2 p.m. And I don't know, it was maybe like 10, 10, 10 when I made that surrender video. So 11, 12, 1, 2. And in that time, I had the meeting with the lawyer. Then the lawyer, and that went like medium, but I was really super at peace. Like we talked for 10 minutes about the legal aspects, and then we talked for 10 minutes about like the huge blessing of like what is definitely worth more than the house to me, or worth $100,000 or $500,000 to me, is knowing that I can be at peace when a really shitty situation is happening. Like that's worth $10 million to me. $1 billion, right? Um, because that's something that money can't buy and something I've desired for my whole life. And so we talked primarily about that. And then I like, so he went and called the people who are threatening me, and then he got more information from them, and it seemed like kind of bad. And I got a thing from the contractor saying he can't start the work without the money. And I got a thing from the um, bank saying like, oh, like it's more problems with the people who want to like put a lien on the house. And so it was all kind of just looking like this is still getting worse. And I was like, okay, okay. And I had a little moment with the like um bank thing of like, and then I was like, okay, that's all right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get lunch because like eating is important. And I went downstairs to make some food, and then I was like, let me put on that video again about the ping pong balls, which I'll link that here. If actually I don't know how to link it here. I'll figure out how to do that. I think maybe I do know how to figure it out. It's just that I don't have a TikTok account and it's on TikTok, but I'll put it on there. Like it's so awesome. I'll figure it out. It's so worth it. Um, and then let me just write down. I'm gonna put the Bashar thing, and I'm gonna put the ping pong ball thing. And so I'm like, let me watch that again because that's encouraging. And then I don't think I referenced that yesterday, but that happened in the like heat of the moment freak out yesterday. Was that my, excuse me, coaching person shared this video with me about ping pong balls. And it's not about ping pong balls, but I don't know how else to reference it. But it's basically about like when stuff you're trying to get your life better and all the shit comes up, like it means you're making progress. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Don't give up, because soon enough, like it's like a jar of water and the ping pong balls are the problems, and they rise to the top. And eventually, like the more water you pour in, the ping pong balls are going to come all the way out. But most of us quit like in the top when the ping pong balls are just like overflowing, overflowing. Um, so I'll link that. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a little hard again. Like, I'm gonna watch that video. I'm gonna make myself some food. And then I like put the food in the microwave. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I go into the bathroom, and what is on the bathroom floor for no good reason except for a miracle? Another feather. Yeah, for real, another feather. I wish I had brought it up, but it's downstairs still. Another feather was there. I'm like, okay, okay, thank you, thank you. So I go, I like sit in the little patch of sun that's right by our sliding glass door to eat. And I'm like, okay, okay. And then after the eating came was the time that I was gonna call the bank, and I'm like, um, I'm gonna what was the thing I was gonna tell myself? Um, I think I just had written down, like, remember that, like, learning to feel calm in the storm is, like, the goal and you already got it. So it doesn't matter what the bank says. Um, and so I get on the phone with the bank and she's, like, so calm and nice, and I'm like, "How are you?" And she's like, "Hanging in there. How are you?" And I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "So we've decided we're gonna give you the money upfront so you can give it to the contractor, and we're not going to require you to solve the thing with the person because we don't think they can put a lien on the house. And we just want to support you and be real cautious and make sure this all goes through. And good news is the appraisal came through much higher." This is like that conversation does not match the tone of the last like 12 email interactions that were all like kind of like, it's literally I jumped timelines. I'm not I like, there's no other explanation. The surrender jumped me into the timeline where the bank is just like, "Yeah, we're gonna work it all out for you. It's no problem, no big deal." I, like, didn't even ask them for that. So, what we know is the ETs are right, but what we don't have is, like, a magical spell to get us from resistance to surrender. What we do know is surrender does magically put us onto the timeline where everything works out, but we don't know how to get the surrender. So let's keep I mean, the more times I experience it, the better I'm gonna pay attention and I'm gonna watch. Where does this happen? How does this happen? I do you know what I'm thinking? I think it's a divine gift. And maybe it's, you know how in 12 step, you might not know how. In 12 step groups, they talk about like praying for the willingness to be willing to do things. So I think it might have to do with that. And I've been doing a lot of like, I just want help. I want extra angels. I want extra angels around everything. I just want help. I am open to help. I want help. And I've been showing up, you know, to my therapy and my coaching things and doing my walks and eating my food and reading my um affirmations at night and doing my journal around what I'm grateful for. And I've been hoponing the hell out of all these people who are wanting to sue me. And I've been doing all the things. I've been doing all the things. And I've um, been doing my meditations and I've been doing things that I love. And I've been, you know, sharing honestly with people about how scared and sad I am. And I've been comforting myself as I've been scared and sad. Um, so I'm sure all of those things have just been helping. And I've just continued to think about how would my ideal self show up and move through this. And I have practiced playing out what happens if it all goes the worst possible direction, and I really did I saw a reality in which, you know, the house doesn't sell for as much as I owe the loan, and I have to pay back the loan for 10 years, and the contractor sues me, and I have to pay him back for 10 years, and I, you know, maybe have to be bankrupt and I just find a nice place to rent and I just pay it as I can and I just tell them what I can pay. I saw that reality and I saw that I was okay and I just took it one step at a time. This is so beautiful. So I think maybe it's the just keep on keeping on, keep doing the things that you know are supportive and keep asking for the willingness. And then when it comes, be so grateful and remind yourself what it feels like. I'm so grateful. Okay, my friends, it's getting to be like, you know what I just had? I just had a feeling. Can't wait to see what happens next. It's getting to be like a really good book or like a really good movie. And I think that's what our soul feels like. Like, oh my gosh, this is like when you're watching a movie and you're like, no way. Like, how could it keep being so wild? And how could it keep being so good and so like such amazing twists and turns? I love you all so much. I will let you know.